Hello, everybody. It is Friday. It is Good Friday for those who observe this Easter weekend. It's also Passover. I believe we've got one more night of Passover. So I come to you on this beautiful Friday just with a spirit of love and gratitude for each and every one of you. So thank you for stopping by and watching this beautiful conversation we're going to have today. Myself and my friend Simone Rivers. Hi, Simone.
Hi, hello, everyone. Nice
I,
to be here.
yeah, it is fun to be here. And what a beautiful way to spend Friday afternoon before happy hour.
When you reminded me that today was Good Friday, because I had forgotten. I remember as a kid hearing that, going, "We only get one. Only Friday is going to be good once a year. That's weird. Why can't it? Every Friday be Good Friday?" I
Good
remember
Friday.
thinking that.
Yeah, that's funny. That is. Well,
Mhm.
we're going to be having a conversation today about mothers. And so take a moment, pause if you can, or circle back to this a little bit later. And I've been thinking a lot about my mom lately. And I think other people have said to me and my sisters recently, "Oh my goodness, your sisters, the three of you started this amazing organization and community. Your mom must be so proud of you." And my mom passed actually the first year that we started Women's Prosperity Network. And
Mm.
so she passed at the end of 2008. And um, so I have so many stories running through my head. Not all of them are good. I'm not sure which ones I should share. But my sister Trish often talks about how my mom was an entrepreneur. So we grew up in Brooklyn. She had 4 kids. So yes, we do have a brother. And just in case my brother Michael happens to watch, hi Michael, hi Jenny, that would be lovely. And she started off washing and ironing clothes for the families in the rich neighborhood that was right next door to our neighborhood.
Mhm.
She sold jewelry. Sarah Coventry. Do you remember Sarah Coventry? You might not be old enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm older than you, your big sister over
I
here.
don't. I don't know if it's age as much as it's accessibility.
Oh, it could be. Could be.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. So she sold Sarah Coventry. She sold lipstick. She did all kinds of things. She was really entrepreneurial. And if she could see the community that we built, and I kind of suspect she does see it,
Mhm.
it I know she's proud of us. One of the things our mom was really keen on was family is the most important thing.
Mhm.
No matter what, you take your sisters, your brother, you got to take care of each other. You have to be there for each other. And that essence that we were brought up in, that culture that we were brought up in, permeates Women's Prosperity Network.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
does.
And what's interesting is we didn't realize how special it was when we first started, that it was 3 sisters, and um, we just didn't get it because we were used to it. It was what we knew, right?
Mhm.
And in these recent days, as many conversations have been coming up about it, I think too, my grandkids never met her. Like they don't know who Pat Carr was. She was an amazing woman. We pass on pieces of her, but it's important to pass on to generations to come who she was in all my life, and just continue the legacy.
Absolutely. We have a lot of parallels. I never met my grandparents, and it was really important for me to have my children meet and know my mother. And her legacy lives through us. My mother's legacy lives through me, and I am certain that there's an aspect of your mother that Trish displays. There's an aspect of your mother that Susan displays, that Michael displays, that you display. And when you think about something, go, "Oh, I don't know if I should share that." I
Well,
can feel that there were moments when
Oh my gosh, so funny. We actually have this little, because, all right, let me be real. Sometimes when someone tells you that you look like your mother or you're acting like your mother, you don't necessarily receive it as a compliment, right? So comment with me below if, like, and then you become a mother and things change. So we'll talk about that in a moment too.
Hmm.
Hi, Keith Leon. Hi, Burge. So for a while there, when one of the three girls, would act like our mother or do something the way she did, we would say, "Oh, that's EPB, exhibiting pat behavior." So we have this little code. So sisters, if you're watching, we all do it, right?
It's really interesting. My mother had 6 children, and we all look alike. We all look very similar. My siblings are much older than me, so I'm more like their kid than their little sister,
Yeah.
right? And when I look at them and I look at myself now, my mom told me my father was very tall and my mother was very short. He was very thin, and my mother was rotund. And
Mm.
as a kid, I would say, I'm going to be tall like my daddy and fat like my mom. And she would look at me and say, one day you're going to wish you hadn't said that. You're going to wish you hadn't said
I
that.
know, right?
But I look at my siblings, and as I age, I look more and more like her every day. And I'm looking at myself now. I am her.
Yeah.
I am her.
I know. And we are, right? And I just want to see in the comments here. Hi, Keith Leon. I know I miss my mom so much. And Susan,
Mhm.
yes, we are talking about your mother. That's the other thing we do in my family. So we'll refer to it as, oh, your mother did that. Wait, your mother? Isn't it your mother too?
Oh, I would say your son did that.
Right?
That's your brother. No, that's your son.
Yeah, it's so funny. And so part of the reason for Simone and I having this conversation today in particular is Mother's Day is coming, and I do miss my mom.
Mhm.
And in full transparency, I don't think I honored her enough for the woman she was while she was alive. And I've never shared that before. I don't think I honored her enough. I loved her. I cared about her. She was amazing. But the breadth of who she was growing up in the 60s as a single mom with an alcoholic parent, like she raised 4 kids on her own back then. She went and got a job. She went to Catherine Gibbs School and got herself a job as an executive secretary. And then she worked up to, the office manager. And she was always advancing and moving forward. And I know that that spirit she has is in all three of us. So thank you, Mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me say first, you will not make me cry. That will not happen today. That will not happen today, but
Is
I'm
that a
triggered.
challenge? Is
That
that
is
a
a
Don't
challenge.
challenge me.
I am triggered because my father passed away when I was very young. And my father was as an adult, I know that he was dying, and they said that he wouldn't wake up and all these different things, and he did. I came to visit him every single day, every single day. My mom brought me to the hospital. Those are the pictures I have of me and my dad with my pigtails and all that. But he started speaking and he said, I won't leave you as long as you come visit me every day. Well, my mother had 6 children and he was in the hospital. I know this as an adult now, but she had 6 children and he was in the hospital, and she was not a working mother and she had to find work. So she found work and didn't take me to the hospital. And that was the day that my father passed away. So I had an interesting relationship with my mother as a kid because I always thought it was my fault that my father passed. It was her fault because she didn't take me to the
Right.
hospital.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was an adult that I understood, and we were able to reconcile and have a conversation. And as I'm listening to you, I think I wish I hadn't let all those years go by without telling her I understand. So first I want to give love to myself. And then I want to give love to you because going back creates depression. Looking too far ahead creates anxiety. But right now, in this moment, we have nothing but love for our mothers. And
That's right.
I appreciate the moment that you're allowing me to spend with you. So thank you.
Yeah, it's I appreciate it too. And uh you're not gonna get me to cry. Yeah, and I think about, my mom and my kids and all of the wonderful times we had. She was a hoot, man. And Simone has a project that she's doing called My Mama Said,
Mhm.
and her mom just passed away last November, and this inspired idea about creating a book called My Mama Said, giving us all the opportunity to honor our mothers, to
Mhm.
remember that mother wit and wisdom that just will come out of our mouths, right? It just pops
So
out.
unexpected, so unexpectedly.
Yeah.
My mom passed away on November 23rd. I I remember the date best because I launched a book on November 24th
I
and
know.
I had to move forward. That was who she was. I went to visit her at the wake and I realized I'd never seen her rest in my life. I had never seen her rest. And
Wow.
that was such an epiphanal moment for me. But in my grieving process, and let me just say, nobody ever heard me say mama except my mother. My siblings heard it, but in the world, no, that's a country. You don't speak that way. That's what I said to myself. But
Mm,
she keeps coming back and she kept saying things, and I'd find myself going, my mama said such and such and such. And, I was reading Napoleon Hill and the little girl in the beginning, and she said, my man said she wants her 50 cents or whatever it was.
yeah, yeah.
I was hearing her and I'm going, where's that coming from? And why do I need to say that? And the truth is, she said a lot.
Yeah.
And the world, there's so many people I've met who didn't have relationships with their mom in the same way. And this book inspires an opportunity to reconnect to the truth that the woman that gave you life
Mhm.
deserves honor,
Yeah. It's
regardless of the relationship.
agreed, agreed. So we got Mother's Day coming up, and I'm really honored and grateful for this opportunity you've created for us to share a story about our mother
Mhm.
in the book. And I want to encourage, you're watching live, your mom's story, your relationship, those ahas, those things you've learned for her.
Mhm.
Please reach out to Simone and see what you can do to be a part of this book. She's got it timed so that it can come out in time for Mother's Day. So let me share. I'm just going to stick it at the bottom and we will keep on going. There it is. So to talk to Simone, just have a conversation. There's lots of ways, she's made this easy for anyone to say yes. And what are you going to do for your mother for Mother's Day? I mean, my mom is passed, right? My mom is passed, and I want this memorial to her, is what it feels like to me. And if your mom is still with us, you could get flowers, you could get candy, you could buy her a bathrobe, whatever those things are. But imagine the look on her face when you hand her this book and say, turn to page 37 or whichever page it's on. And you surprise her with how much you love her and honor her. Like,
And you share with the world something she said to you
yeah.
that she didn't even know you were listening to. She
Mm.
didn't even know you were listening to. You talked about Mother's Day and flowers. Interestingly enough, I don't necessarily like flowers because since she passed, I get to watch them die, and I don't want that
Uh,
experience. I don't want that
Good thing I
experience.
got you a plant for your birthday.
Yes, and I still have it. I remember I said thank you.
I know.
I still have it. Plants live on. I didn't want flowers, and my brother gave my mom flowers every week while she lived, every week. And
Mm.
there's this beautiful song. Um, I can't remember the verses in the song, but part of it was "Give me my flowers while I yet live." So when I saw all those flowers at the funeral, I thought,
Mm,
you could have called her last week, you know? And this is something that lasts forever as long as the book is in print.
yeah.
Your children, your children's children, your children's children's children get to see that you honored your mother. And I did. I made it accessible for an 18-year-old with a summer job to be a part of it, just to say, Mom, I love you.
I know. Hey, my kids, are you watching?
Absolutely. Up to the point where you have a story. You had a rich history with your mom, the three of you, and you want to share a story. Let people know who she was, why she was. There were five pillars that stay with me that my mother built my life. I built my life around.
Mhm.
It was faith. It was family that you mentioned. It was friendship. My mama said it's better to have four quarters than 100 pennies. You don't
Have
need to
good
be
friends.
popular,
Yes.
right? It was finances, and it was food. We lived around food. My mother showed us how much she loved us
With
with food. That was important to her. My kids eat. We may not have running water and electricity sometimes, but we always had food, and she fed the neighborhood. And there are things about those experiences that we are now expressing in how we raise our own children
yeah.
and how we're living in the society and the communities that we live in. And I think it's really important to move it forward. And something I had downloaded recently was that the world is aching
Mm,
for a new kind of leadership. And I believe in my heart that it's coming from a woman. And leadership is a word that people are afraid of, but it really is just influence. And the place that you live in, you have influence. The space that I'm in, I have influence. And can you imagine us connecting those spaces together and having this beautiful effect over the world? That's what this project does for me. It lets people know who she was. The she for me is Blanche. I'm Blanche's child. I heard you say Pat. You're
yeah,
Pat's
Pat's child, Pat Carr.
Blanche's child. And I want people to know who she was.
Yeah.
I want people to know who she was and benefit from what I learned.
And I think that the beauty of all of the stories that'll be shared in this book is, let's go back in time when, women sat around the circle and shared stories and passed
Mhm.
on their legacy. And this is the new way of doing it, to pass on that legacy. I remember the day that I gave birth to my first child. And
Mm.
let me say, so I got pregnant when I was 24. I was single, and I decided to have Zach, my son. I decided to have him. And when I told my mother, she was like, "What? You got pregnant?" And I was like, she goes, "How did that happen?" I was like, "Really, Mom?" And she wanted me to give the baby up for adoption. She didn't think I was ready, and was single woman, and all of that around it.
Mhm.
And then she was happy. And the day I remember lying in the hospital bed after I had him, and all I wanted to do was call my mother, because we had this shared experience got created.
Mhm. Yes.
And as we mature and become parents, don't we have such a greater love and appreciation for who
Yes.
they
And
are and all they went
we
through?
go back and say, "Did I do that? I'm
Oh,
so
yeah,
sorry.
I know, I know,
I'm
I
so
know,
sorry."
I know. But
Um,
then we have children, so that's where the pain comes in.
it's interesting because I was the last of six, and my sisters and brothers will watch this, and I say I was the best of the lot.
Me too.
I
Susan,
was the best of the lot, and I'm the youngest and
me
all that.
too.
But Nancy, I never wanted children.
Mm.
And my mother understood because my sisters and brothers had lots of kids. And I got married And my scenario was a little different. I was married and I was pregnant. And my mom was like, "You sure? Because you said," and she was there at the hospital with me. Her and my older brother and my best friend were at the hospital with me. And when my son was born, I had some issues and I wasn't able to see him for almost 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And my blood pressure was really high. And the nurse came in and said, "Well, if you can calm down, if you can get your blood pressure down, you can see the baby." And my mom goes, "Well, if you give her the damn baby, her blood pressure will go down."
Hello.
So they rolled me in to see him. I got well. I got to hold him. And she said, "That boy has been here before." And ever since, she's called him Old Man Rivers. And those moments,
yeah,
when you express them in their fullness, they help people. They help people heal situations that you know nothing about. And it's an opportunity to do just that, to share with the world things that you think are obvious, other people think are awesome. That's what Nancy Matthews gave me a little while ago.
I remember that. Yeah, I found it somewhere. So that was good. It's true. It's true. Well, Simone, thank you so much for the opportunity for us to honor our mom. And for all those who are also going to do this, the time is now because we're in April and we got 6 weeks for Mother's Day. So give your mom the best gift ever. Give your family and generations to come and all those people you don't even know yet the gift of the wisdom she shared with you. So go ahead and click on the link and just have a conversation with Simone. There's lots of ways for you to join in this project. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your beautiful story. Thank you so much.
Always. You're welcome. So on this Good Friday, I bid you a good afternoon. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Pass this around to people you know who are looking for a unique way to honor their mother this Mother's Day. So thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Blessings abound.